Mystery of stuff. Lost Egyptian city found underwater after 1,200 years. Lost Egyptian city found underwater after 1,200 years. Scientists find lost Egyptian city underwater after 1,200 years. 1,200 years ago, the ancient Egyptian city of Heracleion disappeared beneath the Mediterranean. Founded around 8th century BC, well before the foundation of Alexandria in 331 BC, it is believed Heracleion served as the obligatory port of entry to Egypt for all ships coming from the Greek world. Prior to its discovery in 2000 by archaeologist Frank Gaudio in the ESAM, European Institute for Underwater Archaeology, no trace of Thinis Heracleion had been found. The city was known to the Greeks as Thinis. Its name was almost erased from the memory of mankind, only preserved in ancient classic texts and rare inscriptions found on land by archaeologists. Off the coast of Egypt, divers have discovered something that was thought to be lost a long time ago. It was said that the Egyptian city of Heracleion was lost under the sea for good. Founded around 8th century BC, well before the foundation of Alexandria in 331 BC, it is believed Heracleion served as the obligatory port of entry to Egypt for all ships coming from the Greek world. Well, 1,200 years later, off the Bay of Abukar, this ancient city has finally been discovered. The city dates back to the 6th century BC and holds some of the most beautiful artifacts you could imagine. Things like grand statues of gods and goddesses standing well over 15 feet tall and carved out of red granite, treasures of gold and rare stones, elaborate temples and enormous tablets. This find is enormous in the historical preservation community and has been commissioned by museums around the world. Take a look at this incredible city found underwater. The discovery. With his unique survey-based approach utilizing sophisticated technical equipment, Frank Gaudio and his team from the ESAM were able to locate, map and excavate parts of the city of Thinis Heracleion, which lies 6.5 kilometers off today's coastline, about 150 feet underwater. The city is located within an overall research area of 11 by 15 kilometers in the western part of Abukar Bay. Findings to date include the remains of more than 64 ships buried in the thick clay and sand that covers the seabed. Gold coins and weights made from bronze and stone. Giant 16-foot statues along with hundreds of smaller statues of minor gods. Slabs of stone inscribed in both ancient Greek and ancient Egyptian. Dozens of small limestone sarcophagi believed to have once contained mummified animals. Over 700 ancient anchors for ships. Here is the head of a statue carved out of red granite depicting the god Hapi. Hapi is known as the god of the flooding of the Nile. Hapi is a symbol of abundance and fertility and has never been discovered at such a large scale before. This is diver Frank Gaudio examining the enormous hand-carved statue of a pharaoh. This statue stands roughly 16 feet tall and was found near a large temple under the sea. Here is the head of a statue carved out of red granite depicting the god Hapi. Hapi is known as the god of the flooding of the Nile. Hapi is a symbol of abundance and fertility and has never been discovered at such a large scale before. The divers and their team of researchers carefully lift the statue to the surface in order to preserve and protect this piece of history. It will reside safely in a museum. Here the pharaoh, the queen and the god Hapi are laid on the barge next to a temple stele. The stele dates back to the 2nd century BC. It was found broken into 17 pieces, however all were found and placed back together. This gold plaque was found in the southern sector of the city. The text is written in Greek and acts as a signature for foundation deposits in the name of the king responsible for building this area. King Ptolemy III, 246–222 BC. In the reflection of this diver's mask we see a bronze statue of the god Osiris. The crown is the typical insignia of power and this statue has eyes adorned with gold sheets. Every single detail of this site in Abukar Bay has been meticulously documented. Here a diver measures a red granite statue's feet below the surface of the ocean. A bronze oil lamp in excellent condition, This dates back to the 2nd century BC. Diver Frong Gaio showing off the size of this inscribed stele. This was ordered to be built by Nectane Boi sometime between 378 and 362 BC. The divers carefully lift the enormous stele out of the water where it has been for well over 1,200 years. Here the divers carefully inspect a stone full of gold fragments that date back to the 6th century BC. I'm amazed that these are still intact. This is a shallow gold saucer that was used for drinking and serving. This is an absolutely stunning statue found under the bay of a Ptolemaic queen. Most likely Cleopatra II or Cleopatra III dressed as the goddess Isis. This red granite statue was also found near the big temple of Heracleion and weighs a massive 4 tons. Here is a beautiful artifact, a Greco-Egyptian statue of a queen carved out of dark stone. This is the head of a pharaoh statue being raised to the surface. The statue measures over 5 meters and was carved out of red granite. A bronze small figure of the pharaoh of the 26th dynasty found at a smaller temple in the underwater city of Heracleion. This is an absolutely epic underwater find that has researchers scrambling to this part of the globe to learn about this incredibly beautiful Egyptian city. The fact that the city found underwater has been left untouched underwater for so many years is an amazing factor on its own, let alone being a find as big as it truly is. These statues and artifacts are massive and nearly perfectly preserved. The attention to detail in these pieces is truly beautiful and I'm happy to see it being preserved with great care. This is a pretty awesome discovery. Research suggests that the site was affected by geological and cataclysmic phenomena. The slow movement of subsidence of the soil affected this part of the southeastern basin of the Mediterranean. The rise in sea level also contributed significantly to the submergence of the land. The ESA made geological observations that brought these phenomena to light by discovering seismic effects in the underlying geology. Analysis of the site also suggests liquefaction of the soil. These localized phenomena can be triggered by the action of great pressure on soil with a high clay and water content. The pressure from large buildings, combined with an overload of weight due to an unusually high flood or a tidal wave, can dramatically compress the soil and force the expulsion of water contained within the structure of the clay. The clay quickly loses volume, which creates sudden subsidence. An earthquake can also cause such a phenomenon. These factors, whether occurring together or independently, may have caused significant destruction and explain the submergence of Thinus Heracleion. Mystery of stuff.